Armando confirmed for Fortress of the Gothic Vampires. Oh my god, this is a really, really heavy video. I've been waiting to drop this shit since yesterday. That idea I had to push out because of the confirmation, but due to a project that we already had heavy emphasis on, Armando is confirmed for Fortress of the Gothic Vampires. And his power is OP. So who is Armando? Armando is a gang member who I fought and killed on the freeway in the form of self-defense because they jumped me with a car. What happened is literally they hit me with a car and literally 3 people came at me with Glocks, with knives, because they did based on my fighting style. I don't mean this to literally his family or no harm, but here's what happened. So basically, literally, I already grew up with his gang's higher rank. Like literally, he grew up with literally a gang that literally kind of de-evolutionized, but not really. Like they had the same concept, but they didn't work as nearly as hard because I grew up with the hardest members. One of the hardest members of their gang's history name was the Platinum Boys. So I grew up with them, but they weren't around because they were heavy on literally guerrillaing and everything. They were heavy on everything that literally this generation of their gang wasn't. So, but what Armando did was literally he stood out from the gang, and this is to pay respect to literally how cool that person was, because this is the thing, man. What happened was this, literally. What happened was this. I accidentally, curved a girl, and there were 2 girls in Lily. So what happened is I took the L, and when I took the L, Lily, the girls sent a gang out to get me, Lily. I got checked by somebody's little brother. Like, literally, I spoke with somebody in high school, and his little brother Armando got that gang. What happened is that gang literally got de-evolutionized because instead of working hard, they got this concept of mind over matter, because that's how their gang originated. Their gang originated mind over matter. So literally what they did was literally they didn't really put too much emphasis. So what they did was they had them work out a little bit, but literally just to give them character, and then they made them fully shit in order for them to believe their own shit, but then they gave them a gun to put the icing on the cake. And so what happened is I ended up literally dodging bullets from their gang for an entire year. And literally what happened was just, it was insane because Armando stood up around the rest. And literally what he was is, he was very ambitious about his gang when he was younger. Because what happened was he was the one who was heavy on strategy, because that's how their gang originated. So what Armando did was literally he had trouble working out. Like literally, I saw Armando get into a fight. Somebody was playing a fight of Armando on his phone. He fought very technical when I saw him on the phone. And so literally, this is literally, if you want to know more about him, like literally, there's a whole movie about him in the description below. So basically, what happened was literally, he was the head of my school. Like literally, he was like the headmaster when I first got there. So like, he got kicked out due to literally being hyphy, due to really hardcore. He was the definition of a leader because he had his own character. So what happened is, what made him stand out amongst the gang is literally he wasn't focusing on physical combat, but the Axo strategy itself, and that's what made him rise above every other member. What happened was this, literally, he couldn't bench more than 150, but he's all like, you know what, I got the concept of boxing down, literally, I know how to use a strap, literally, I'll let my niggas do the rest, literally. That is literally what fucking happened. Like, he would challenge, like, he would literally pick on this guy's girl, and literally, he's like, oh, I ain't scared, nigga. So like, literally, what he did, they were scared for a little bit, but his goons would always come in, and literally, over and over again, wherever he was in a fussle, but he was already at a good status, so like, he didn't do it for no reason. So literally, if you want more about his elaborate strategy, go down below. But Armando, the reason why I have to put him in this movie, not just because he was a heavy hitter in real life. That guy was really the most popular guy in like my high school, literally, at the time. Literally, he was a rapper, he was everything, he was really up there. But at the same time, what happened was this, literally. So what happened was he hit me with a car because of the strategy. How he learned about how I fight is basically, I know how to dodge bullets. So they had to do something that I was gonna curse. So that's why they brought Glocks, and they brought a knife, and they brought 2 people who boxes, because I obviously, I'm not saying that I actually took martial arts, but like literally, what happened is literally, like, they thought I knew how I took martial arts. So literally, what happened was this. So literally, like, they hit me with a car and I was blinded. So literally, what happened was Armando got on top of me, and literally, I heard a signal. So literally, what happened is I woke up out of nowhere. So literally, they were prepared. They had Glocks, and they thought their plan was bulletproof. So what happened is they knocked me out with a car. So I was blind. I'm like, what the fuck happened? I feel a body on top of me. So what happened is I pushed Armando off of me, literally, like I did my older brother when we were in a fight. I pushed him off of me, literally, and he was like, what the fuck? And literally, he didn't think that literally a zombie can come back to life. But there arose there are arose from the fucking dead, literally. It's just me being blacked out, and that's what happens when you get to a certain level of strength. For happened was literally, I kind of prepared myself. What happened is I had different habits. I stopped smoking for 5 months. I drank water every day. I kept on exercising my legs every single day on the swings and my daily activities with my long ass walks, literally. So what happened was just I was 100% prepared for that to happen, and I didn't even expect that to happen. It was some crazy shit, literally. So he hit me with a car, and I was still able to stand just fine. But you know, fucking, it was crazy, like literally. That was more validation that I was a dad. That was more validation from God, literally, letting me know I'm getting closer, literally. And that was crazy as fuck. But you know what? I learned that shit was crazy. I learned that was more validation that I was a grown man. But I also learned why that was heavily unnecessary. Because Armando was a beautiful person, and he did not have to go out like that. What happened was, after he hit me with a car, because I was already stronger, I benched at least 200. So literally, so what I did was, I'm like, okay, these guys probably are laced with weapons. I was blind and I knew all this already. I'm like, they probably made a bulletproof plan to win. So what they're trying to do is, like, literally, they're even gonna block their face when I literally, if I do get back up, they're gonna block their face on some boxing shit. So I'm gonna take advantage of that. What I did was I did something unexpected, and I started a flurry. If you don't know what a flurry is random punches. So what happened is I got off the ground, and I used the same techniques that I used to dodge bullets to literally hit them, and they were on me in a triangular fashion, like literally. It was 3 people in Lily, 2 of them Lily, and there was one in front of me. So Armando was in front of me. So what happened is, after I got him off me, I rushed and I flurried Armando. I knew one hit was enough to knock him out. So Lily, multiple, it was done for us. It was like that. That was my thought process. I'm like, they probably think this. I'm like, he's probably gonna be technical too. I'm gonna take advantage of the fact that he's blocking. So I hit him with nothing but hooks on top of hooks on top of hooks. Lily, straight forward, wrestling with hooks and Lily. And then the other people, Lily, started blocking their face too. So I dashed this way, I dashed left, and then I dashed right, Lily, with each flurry. So I did the same strategy on each and every one of them. So you know what that told me, Lily? That told me, Lily, and that's why God. This is the same reason why I don't go to parties. This is the same reason why it took so long to get it on paper. It's the same reason that everything is like, God is like, I'm only gonna validate you once. Because this is why people are afraid of you. You just did this when you were blind. Imagine what would happen if you were actually, in plain sight, Lily. There was so much he tried to tell me. He's like, I don't want you to live this lifestyle, is what God told me, Lily. So what happened, it was crazy. So Lily, what happened was, Lily, I went to the hospital, and Lily, they told me, Lily, it was crazy. And that, Lily, it was mad disrespect, but it was crazy because they tried to make it seem like it didn't happen because a girl hacked my phone and she took a picture when I was walking. So how I figured out I won the fight is, Lily, I woke up and I was walking straight on the street, Lily, to my house, and Lily, my wallet was in the perfect position. I'm like, oh yeah, I fucked them up. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. Like, Lily, there was blood on my shirt and I can tell it was from a different direction. It was crazy as fuck. So what happened was this. Literally, what happened was this, Lily. When I did go to the hospital, I saw a Hispanic, I don't know, like, I'm not trying to be discriminate, but a Latin or Hispanic, like senior male in the hospital, and he let me know, yes, that's my son, yes, you did fight them, and yes, that's a part of being a grown man. And it really was treacherous. So Lily, I got the validation of being a grown man, but when I got home, it's like, you know what, that was very unnecessary. And that's when I learned how peace is truly the most necessary tool on this planet. You need peace more than anything. I swear, that was heavily unnecessary because he was a cool ass guy. He had a really, really, really good personality. He was a really high tier at that gang because Lily, what he did was how the gang originated and is how he specialized in Lily and how he operated. But the problem was he was running away from the fact that he couldn't bench 200. He needed to bench that 200. He needed to get past that point because that is Lily. No matter how smart you are, Lily, you're running away from something. I learned that over time. Sometimes you gotta face that head on. I've been through that experience. I'm telling you, man. Like Lily, he was running away from other tiers of the same gang. Like he started so many things with other members of that gang. It wasn't funny. So Lily, what happened was after I figured out what happened, I made a video paying homage to him, and I contacted the Platinum boys, Lily, and told them what happened. And Lily, so what's basically been happening is, Lily, like, it's been cool. They haven't really started shit, but this is really paying homage. I hope I'm not, starting anything by using him as a character. I really, really respected him when he was alive. I never expected to actually, it go down that way. And you have to understand, Lily, that was a complete and total accident, but it came from a lot of momentum. But another reason why I put Armando is because he's going to be a part of my a Wish Foundation for nerds. I want nerds to understand that he was a beautiful person and that it wasn't just, oh, I being with ease. No, he was a fantastic person because he came at me like this. So he played a song on my iPod. And so, you know, the gang was already trying to recruit me. They didn't want me listening to rap. They didn't want me listening to rock music at all. So whenever they would hack my phone, whenever I was listening to rock, they would change it to heavy rap. I'm like, no, I'm trying to listen to rock. And so what Armando did was he took a song and he took the softest rock song on my iPod and literally, he's all like, okay, so what happened is they contacted him like this, like, there's this nigga talking shit and this like that. So they needed somebody who could dodge bullets, so they brought Armando. So literally, so Armando's all like, oh, this nigga, I know this little nigga since he was a freshman. So literally, what happened is it's like, okay, little nigga, okay, I'm gonna play this soft ass song. You gotta tag along, like literally, I'm gonna go with your little fairy tale, and then we're about to jump you, and then you're about to get in our gang, okay? Literally, I'm gonna expect you to comply. And literally, when I was in high school, I would have fell for that immediately. Oh, somebody's beating me halfway. Oh, somebody's literally, oh, he likes rock just like I do. Like, literally, I would have literally fell for that instantly if I was in high school. But because I was such an elite, because I was dodging their bullets, literally, because literally, this and that, literally, because I was literally being successful every day, I'm all like, this ain't shit. And literally, so I changed it back to heavy rap immediately. And he's like, what the fuck? How the fuck did this little nigga see through my scheme? And literally, so fucking soon. But that is some Godfather shit. For our fucking gang member to think of a strategy like that, that is legendary. That is literally a strained Scarface to 100%. You won't understand how gangster that shit is. But I belittled it because I was in the league. And that's the problem with the cringe generation. You belittle shit because you don't have to put in the work. You belittle it because you don't have to work hard. You belittle it because all you have to do is comment and stay on the sidelines. Literally, that takes work. He had an anime level strategy that he used on me in reality. And I'm like, what the fuck, something that would have destroyed Lily. And that's why you have to appreciate people, man. That's why Lily, you can't Lily belittle people forever. You have to Lily learn how to give credit where credit is due, because that's the whole point of life and death. He was a legend. He was completely a legend. I can't believe that Lily, like, it went down like that, but it was crazy. But his gang was out to get me for a while, so yeah, it was in the form of self-defense, and Armando was really, really a good person. So he is going to star in Nonz, Fortress of the Gothic Vampires. So his character's name is Armadillo. So Armadillo's ability is really, really, really hacks, but it's not, because I'll tell you this. So there's this character, there's a team named Shortier. So Shortier literally is Vito's team. If you don't know who Vito is, go watch the Valentine's Day special. Go watch literally, you know, it from beginning to end. You know who Vito is. So Vito's team is confirmed for Fortress of the Gothic Vampires. So Jume is also confirmed for Fortress of the Gothic Vampires, and so is Sortier Sensei. Shortier is a mixture of Hiei from Yu Yu Hakusho and Too Short from Lily, a rapper. So Lily, so Sortier Lily. So I'm gonna go into his ability a little bit. So Sortier Lily, his power is to have encrypted code. I'll elaborate on his power in another video. This is just now. This will give you a picture of what's got to happen. So Sortier is literally, what he does is his sword can unlock an encrypted code. Literally, what it does is literally, it unpuzzles your quirk and it dissolves it, because literally it destroys your quirk and it recreates it basically. Literally, it's like freaking putting pieces of get it out of puzzle. Like literally, what he's doing is he's constantly freaking destroying the memories, destroying the code. What he's doing is he's slashing encrypted Egypt literally prophecies, and literally he's molding the situation to what he wants it to be. So literally what he does is first he catches you with the code, he unravels it, and then he gets you in a trap using the same code, because that is Sortier's ability, is encrypted code. So that is why he's a sensei. He's one of the strongest senseis in Nonz. So I'm talking about his ability in a later video. Literally, so Armando's ability in this movie special is very similar to Shortier's. What he does is he has an encrypted code slash. Like, he has an encrypted code slash, but Shortier's whole ability is an encrypted code. So he can unravel it, and he can trap you, and he can put pieces together, and he can figure out how your quirk works. But Armando's ability is to literally, what he does is he takes an entire timeline worth of shit, and he slashes you with one sword. That is Armando's ability, because of how mature he was, how outstanding he was, how he stood out among the rest. He literally was a really good strategist, one of the best strategists in the game, our legend to this day. So literally freaking Armando's ability in the Fortress of the Gothic Vampires, literally, he has an encrypted sword that he slashes, and it traps you like literally within a timeline, literally, and then he can activate his encrypted code, but he can't do it at real like Sortier. Sortier can bend the sword. He can literally twist the sword like Kurama's and literally trap you all around the encrypted codes where Armando has to use it as a sword. But he is really nasty with it. So he's going to score up with literally Sortier and the Gothic Fortress of the Vampires. I'm sorry, but it's going to happen. So Armando is going to fight Sortier. If you don't know who Sortier is based off Too Short and Hiei from Yu Yu Hakusho. So literally, Armando is going to start, and he's going to have a heavy critical role. Now, on to the second confirmation for Fortress of the Gothic Vampires. The scan I have for Jump Force. Chucifer. So who is Chucifer? Chucifer is literally everybody's favorite line from my brother when he said, Chapsu is a motherfucking beast. And literally, Lucifer from the Devil is a part-timer. So The Devil is a Part-Timer is a fast food anime based off Satan literally getting his powers taken away once he gets transported to the planet Earth. So he has to work at McDonald's. So literally, he works at fucking McDonald's and he ends up working for this hack. Like, there's another fallen angel named Lucifer that falls down, and Satan is literally talking to this little Lucifer. Literally, he has a lot of drip, you know, and he was created specifically for me to understand that you view like you as this guy. They think that when the air realm tries to trap you, they look at you as this guy. They claim that it's not a lot of substance, but it actually takes a main character to be him. You get what I'm saying? Like, so basically, Lucifer is a character and the Devil is a part-timer. He has a purple hair, like literally with purple eyes, really a cold character design. And so he's confirmed. So it's just using between Lucifer and Chaosu, and his name is Chucifer. So his backstory comes like this. Chucifer used to be an old member of the Jerkmates. If you don't know who the Jerkmates are, go to the Valentine's Day special. So Chucifer used to be a dancer. He used to do the same dance as Tito, and he went to the former rock and he joined the clown gang. So that is Chucifer. So Chucifer is Chaosu and Lucifer and Lily. So he's gonna square up against Tito. And what is his power? His power is telekinesis candles. So what happens is Lily, he creates a line of candles and he ignites them, and Lily, he blows them up, but he makes sure he's in you're kind of blindsided. So he kind of uses telekinesis. So what happens is he takes advantage of the fact that Tito is close range, and Lily. So Tito is literally playing things close range from Chucifer and Lily. So how it happens like this: Chucifer traps Tito in a room, Lily, and he's high above the sky, so he makes sure that it's dark. Like, he traps Tito in a dark room, and Tito is trying to climb his way up to, like, at least like one hand this dude. So like Lily, so that is literally Tito versus Chucifer, and so he can enlight his frames. He can use telekinesis, Lily, going hand to hand, much like the scan from Jump Force. So he's going to fight Tito in the Fortress of the Gothic Vampires. All those fights are going down, Lily. It's a whole bunch of shit. So it's really crazy. It's very powerful Nonz movie. It's gonna be right next to Valentine's Day special in terms of everything. It's gonna be way better than Rim's Island. It's gonna be one of the most emotional because it revolves around Better and what he stands for as a character, Lily. How Better turns really positive situations around versus a really emo gang is gonna be crazy. So Lily, all that is confirmed. You know, Brianna, Isaiah's old girlfriend, Lily, is confirmed. Isaiah is also fighting in this. His name is Ezekiel. This Ozzy Osbourne, like Lily, it's all based off like heavy rock figures. Like, there's gonna be references to punk rock bands that I'm gonna do name flips and not. So that's another big confirmation for Fortress of the Gothic Vampires. Heavy confirmation. Lily, it's crazy. So Lily, it's really gonna be a nasty one. It's gonna be one of my favorite ones because what it's gonna be is like, it's going to be Heroes Rising, and if it had consistent action, because it's gonna be admirable. You're gonna learn a whole lot about life. Like Lily, it's way up there. There's so many confirmations, and like Lily, you won't understand that Lily Kanzik is gonna be there. Broomer's confirmed. Fucking Betta's obviously gotta play a big role. Like, Fortress of the Gothic Vampires is one that's literally gonna be the same quality as Curse of the Elephant Statue. So let me go into Curse of the Elephant Statue a little bit about why I keep comparing it to everyone else. Why, like Lily, I don't think the idea is like nearly as cold as the Valentine's Day special, but it has to be because you will understand, Lily. It's based off the Make-A-Wish Foundation I have for nerds. Again, that's why that sleazeball, I remember Lily, when I'm growing up, back when I was a nerd, I would pray to get a girl like that, and Lily, and I understand that Lily, this is Lily, a part of what I give to the nerd community. So Lily, I'm gonna make this another video called like I Feel for Cringe. So I'm not gonna leave nerds hanging. I'm gonna meet them halfway. I know why cringe exists, and there's a logical explanation for why cringe exists. So I'm gonna go into detail about that later on. So stay tuned for that. So Lily, also like literally, you don't understand, like, this is supposed to be on the level of Curse of the Elf Assassin. So why is the Valentine's Day special, Lily? These are going to be your top 3 favorites. It's going to be a Valentine's Day special, the Curse of the Elf Statue, and Fortress of the Gothic Vampires. Those are all going to be in funnest. Now, the shit with Stangelica is going to be really hard, but that's a strategy. So that could be a preference, but I'm going to make sure that it's very well directed. So am I going to draw Stangelica? I'm basically going to draw it. I'm going to make sure that one is going to be heavily directed by me. I'm going to make sure that I'm going to put 85% effort in my choreography, what I want to see. I'm going to direct it, so I'm basically going to draw it. But no, I'm not going to draw it like on paper, no. But yeah, so Lily is crazy. So this is a really big confirmation. It really symbolizes like Lily. Fortress of the Gothic Vampires is Lily. Is why I made it, why I called it that, is how I turned my life around. Lily, how I used to have an emo mindset, but how I turned it around, Lily, this and that. But Lily, even though I was put in a bad situation, but I can tell a lot of people how to turn around. Like Lily, I can really put you in a perspective where you go 100% in something and you get nothing out of it. That really hurts more than a lot of things, more than getting raped, more than doing anything. Like it really hurts a lot. Like, because Lily, that is literally a waste of life right there. When you're going all out in something and you don't get like a single penny out of it, that really sucks. But at the same time, you can turn life around. But you know, because Lily, I had like Lily a near death experience one time, and then I came back and like Lily, I started to appreciate my life like Lily more by day, and Lily, I learned for that. I'm like, Lily, I think about all the things I can do now that I'm alive and now that I'm not suicidal anymore. I think about Lily. It was really tough at the time. I can really understand why a lot of people do it. Like, it was really tough. But at the same time, Lily, like, when you keep on living, when you keep on, you know, trying, you're like this, that, and when you actually appreciate the fact that you have a life, I am so fucking grateful. Like, the story I told you about Stangelica and how I decided to watch the Rugrats High, Lily, just think about that. Like, I do that all the time. Like, Lily, oh, this song is still on YouTube. I remember when I was able to listen to this YouTube song when I was in junior high. Like, Lily, I think about that all the time and how I'm happy to be alive, and Lily, how I'm so thankful for Lily, for how I kept trying, Lily. It was crazy. But this is symbolizing all that. That's why I love Fortress of the Gothic Vampires. And Lily, it teaches you about Lily, why some people don't want to bang anymore, why some, Lily, why they are clowns in the first place. Like, why, like, it really shows you a lot about people. And that's why Better is there for Lily. The spotlight of Lily, what he stands for a character. His love for punk rock was not going to be slandered by these emo kids. And they're going to have some really hacks abilities. So stay tuned for Fortress of the Gothic Vampires.